danger. Now, having said that, if a person denies one of the pillars of Islam, he says, no, this is not part of Islam, then he becomes a kafir. Because Islam was built and based on these 5 pillars and the 6 articles of Iman. Denying one of them makes a person an apostate, not part of Islam anymore, maybe part of another religion, but not definitely part of Islam. This is why we always say that deviant sects and cults who claim that there is another prophet after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they exit Islam. Those who say that we only fast 19 days and we face Palestine instead of Kaaba, those are disbelievers. They're denying things that are known by default to be part of Islam. So anyone who says that, no, I'm not going to pay zakat because it's not mandatory, this is like taxation, this is like jizya, he's a kafir. Of course, after fulfilling the conditions and removing the obstacles. But generally speaking, that would be very easy with such a person. But if a person is greedy and he loves money, and who doesn't? Yet his love to money is more than his love to Islam. And he says, yeah, I know that it is mandatory, but I'm not going to pay zakat. Because with the zakat I have, I can buy a new car. And he's got millions. And subhanallah, and this is something I've noticed. The poorer a person is, the quicker he is in giving zakat. And the richer a person is, the slower in giving zakat. Not only that, he would try to calculate ways out of it, which shows that the purification of the heart is not fulfilled with such a person, because zakat is means of increasing growth and purification, as we've defined this earlier on. So is he a kafir? The answer is no. He is a sinner and he's committing one of the major sins in Islam. Why didn't you make him a kafir if he is not fulfilling one of the pillars of Islam? Because the Prophet said alayhi salatu wasalam in a long hadith about those who do not give zakat. He said that at the end, and that person will then take his way either to heaven or to hell. After all that punishment in the grave, he will then be either directed to heaven or to hell. A kafir can never be directed to heaven. He will stay in hell for eternity, which means that the person who does not deny zakat, but rather he withhold it, in this case, he's a Muslim, but he's a sinner and have committed a major sin and would be punished accordingly, but not to remain in hell for eternity. We move on to properties liable to zakat, and this is extremely important. And why is that? So many times as muftis, as people who answer others' questions, I get so many questions about the things that nullify wudu, about the things that break fasting, about the things that we have to give zakat over. And I keep telling myself, these people, if they just spent an negligible amount of their time every day to study Islam, wallahi, they could have answered themselves and not need to Tom, Dick or Harry to answer them. People come to me and said, Sheikh, I went to the masjid with a pack of cigarettes in my pocket, so is my prayer valid? So I said to myself, okay, why wouldn't it be valid? He said, yeah, because smoking is haram. Okay, but what does that have to do with your prayer? You're clean shaven, and as a man, shaving your beard is haram. So does that affect your salat? No, it doesn't. So this is something that if the Muslims were to learn and to know, they would have known that knowing the essentials of your religion makes it easy for you to make decisions. People say, okay, I smoked a cigarette. Do I have to make wudu? You know that the things that nullify wudu are a handful. So why are you asking me this question? We told you that things that nullify wudu are 5. So if you bring a 6th and it's not included, by default you should answer yourself, akhi, why are you making things difficult for you? Oh, Sheikh, I brushed my teeth while I was fasting. Does it nullify my fasting? Does it break my fasting? Why would it break your fasting? So likewise, people come and say, Sheikh, I have an expensive car, and do I have to give zakat every year on that? I have an expensive watch. I bought a plot long time ago, and now people are telling me you have to pay zakat for that. Well, you have to learn the properties that are liable for zakat, the wealth that are zakatable, and then you can understand and clearly answer yourself without coming to me and asking me questions. And this is what we try to tell people. Expand your knowledge and develop your process or the way of thinking. I get so many questions. I wouldn't say that they are not intelligent questions, but I would say that if the person asking these questions gave it some thought, he would not have asked them. But the problem is, it is so easy to send questions rather than to think. And this is what we are trying to change the people from doing. Yes, you can ask the Sheikh 100 questions a day, and he can easily tell you what to do and what not to do. But this doesn't mean that this is the best thing to do. When you ask so many questions where you could have spent a little time trying to contemplate, trying to understand by yourself, that would have been much easier. And this is why I always tell those who call me, what would you like? Do you want to fish, or do you want to learn how to fish? If you want to fish, you keep on calling every single day. You keep on writing your questions on Twitter or to my website. But this makes you dependent. And this is not positive. This is not healthy. But if I teach you how to fish, and then you go and try it for yourself, maybe you'll succeed 7 times out of 10. The other 3, you can come and ask to be clarified.